Kelly Sutton here from Blip TV. I'm standing with Burnie of Rooster Teeth here down in Austin, Texas.
Hello.
I was down here for South by Southwest and decided to interview Rooster Teeth. So we're going to talk with Burnie a little bit about like the early days of Rooster Teeth, how far they've come. We're actually standing in their studio right now, which is this still technically Austin?
Yeah, we're technically in Austin.
Okay.
In Texas, things tend to be spread out a little further, so we're about like 5 or 6 miles from downtown.
Yeah, you're not like living on top of each other like we are in New York. So.
No, yeah. We actually had an office downtown the last time you came to visit.
Yep.
And that was more of like a post-production studio. We're all crammed in one space, but we wanted to find a place where we could actually do some live action productions.
Yeah. Yeah, so you've been, so Rooster Teeth started in 2003.
Right.
2002, 2003. Out of, you were saying, your bedroom.
Right, well, it actually came out of a different group where we were a website. We were a gaming review site called Drunk Gamers.
Okay.
And so we did that for a while, and the whole purpose of that website was to drink and play video games and do reviews. Yeah. And we were hoping to get free video games from video game companies, but they didn't really see the value of drunk people reviewing their games. So we got one game in 3 years. And then I was my partner, Matt, my business partner, Matt, we had made some independent films in college together. And all those guys went off to LA. And we made a feature in college. And
That's tough. I graduated with a degree in film. Features are tough.
And it was film. I mean, this is, I'm a little bit older, so it was actually 16 millimeter film. And this was like after, late 90s when the independent film scene was kind of like coming down a little bit from the mid like Rodriguez, Tarantino days. But we still had that idea that anybody can make a film, take it to a festival, and set the world on fire. Which you can do, but it's hard.
It's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah. And so we were in the process of like taking that film around to festivals and shopping it around. They went out to LA to get gigs, and I was the computer guy. And they were the film guys. And so I stayed in Austin. Austin is a tech town as well. And while they were out there in LA, I was trying to find something to do, started making this Drunk Gamers site with my net friends, and then just kind of stumbled on making game videos and then doing stuff with that, and then turned it into a narrative thing. We had never seen anything like it before. We didn't know what machinima was, which is what Red vs. Blue is called. And so we started doing that, and it was amazing. We spent a year trying to shop that film that we had made, but we made one video, put it online, and within 12 hours, before I could call Matt out in LA, he'd already seen it. And so here we were in the system where we were trying to show people, get anybody to watch our movie. And then we kind of stumbled on this way of distributing that everybody can see it all at once. And it was a moment where like the whole world just went flat, and it was amazing.
Well, and this was 2003. That was before YouTube even launched, correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, you guys were probably hosting the video yourself or going through like much smaller sites, but you were still able to push it out there and
we were old school. We hosted the video ourselves. We even had a website. It's crazy.
Gotta love those bandwidth bills, gosh.
Yeah, they were pretty nuts back then. In fact, just the way, like you're an engineer at Blip, right?
Yeah, exactly.
One of the biggest things that reduced our costs, like even as the show got more and more popular, all of a sudden the codecs got more and more refined. Yeah, we used to have a postage stamp size video that was 2 minutes, and that was 80 megs. And not everybody had broadband at the time, so it was really hard for them to get it. And then our bills actually went down over time just as a function of technology. Which was cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So at what point, or it might have been very early on, did you think like, oh my gosh, we're onto something? We really need to pursue, I guess, Red versus Blue and turn this into like a full-fledged business. Man,
it was fast. Like you said, it was before YouTube, so there was a lot less out there. I was a big fan of Homestar Runner, still a big fan of Homestar Runner.
Yeah, those guys are great.
And that at the time was the big juggernaut out there. And there were some other things, but there really weren't a lot of serial, web shows out there. And so by episode 1, I think we had 3,000 viewers for episode 1.
Wow.
Then by episode 2, it got linked on FARC, it got linked on Slashshot, and it got linked on a site called Penny Arcade. So by the second episode, we had 500,000 viewers.
Oh my god!
And then after that, it was about 750,000 viewers a week. So we had to figure things out fast because those bandwidth bills racked up.
And then so in the early days, you guys made. You guys were doing like a lot of DVD sales. You guys still do a lot of DVD sales, right?
We do.
Yeah. So I guess how does you guys approach this as like a real business, not just let's put this online and have some like supplemental income from it. So it sounds like you guys really started off thinking of yourselves as like a business and a production house from like day one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a running joke with the guys that I started it with, where they actually had a goal. They wanted to become internet famous.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really all that interested in that. I was like, well, if we're going to do this, we have to have an actual business model in place. And like I said, I was a little older. We started this when I was 29.
Yeah.
And so I had already, had a corporate job and all that. And I thought, if I'm going to be spending every single night when I get home and I have a wife and a young kiddo, I need to, make sure it's going to lead into something. And I already kind of beat my head against the, hey, let's get famous wall for a little while. So but yeah, and then it was like, with the popularity came expenses, and we had to figure out a way to get it done. And the way that we did it was, in first season, was we put up a PayPal donation link.
Wow, okay.
Because we knew we had to get all the way out to the DVDs. And like I said, I was a fan of Homestar Runner, and I read on their website, I read their FAQ, and there was one line in there. It was a question that they were answering, which was, hey, I really like Homestar Runner. When will this be on TV? And it's like, yeah, when will Homestar be on TV? I wondered that too. Yeah. And the answer was, we really appreciate it, but we're happy doing it the way we're doing it. Yeah. And this is the way we want to live with this. And we're two guys, we're two brothers, and we're happy. But thank you for your interest. It was like this. It was kind of dismissive. Yeah. And I thought, wow, there is a whole story behind that statement. There's something there. And I looked at the way that they were doing things. And I've actually gotten to know the guys over time, and I said, you guys were so influential on a business level for me, because I saw you guys were selling shirts, and you were clearly able to make it doing that. And so that's what we did for the first season. We sold T-shirts, and then we sold sponsorships through PayPal donations, which are really just pre-ordering the DVD, essentially. Yeah.
Wow. Gosh. So that's awesome. I'm just actually reacting to that. That's awesome. But
it's funny. It's funny the way it works, because there's all these how-to books out there. Like I remember reading Robert Rodriguez's it's Rebel Without a Crew, because I was so interested in Errol Mariachi and how he made that work when I was an independent filmmaker. Yeah. And what I learned in reading all that, all those success stories, is you can try to mirror somebody's success, but there's always going to be some X factor in every one of those stories that you're not going to be able to replicate.
And there are plenty of people trying to replicate the exact same formula, so you need something to kind of like set yourself apart from everyone else.
Right. Yeah. Right. Or there's some specific opportunity to that story. Yeah. Like the Clerks story, where the one guy who sat in there and watched the movie, that's the guy who decided Clerks should be bought, and we all know and love Kevin Smith now.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're just not going to be able to replicate that opportunity. You're going to have your own opportunities. So you can't mirror the formula for success. Yeah. But on the flip side, everyone seems to fail in the same way. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you can see how people are not succeeding and just say, okay, if I don't do that stuff, if I learn from other people's mistakes, I'm already ahead of the game, so that when my opportunity comes up, I haven't like cut myself off at the knees at that point.
Gotcha. So at what point did you kind of, because you guys are obviously a network of shows now and producing many shows. I mean, Red vs. Blue has season 9 coming out. Immersion just wrapped up its first season, awesome shows, and Achievement Hunter and all those. When did you guys get to the point where you decided to go from one show to 2 or to 3 or to 4?
Well, we just became known as the Red vs. Blue guys for a long period of time. And, when we would go through gaps where we were producing other stuff, people just wanted more Red vs. Blue. Yeah. And it would kind of hurt other productions in that you'd put it up and then you'd get comments saying, hey, when's the next Red vs. Blue coming? People wouldn't give something a fair shot. Yeah. So we had to go through a lot of that, where we just would put out more content, things that were very true to who we are.
Yeah, exactly.
And we don't really think of ourselves as a network. We have actually tried to produce other people's material. It's just we're not cut out for that. Yeah. I mean, because we were when Red vs. Blue was taking off and was a success, we thought, well, let's try to help other people do what we do, and we don't even do much how-to stuff anymore, honestly, just because it's just. We do what we do, and we like to help other people out, if we can. But it's just we're not producers. So it's almost like when you say a network, it's more along the lines of we just have guys that work here. Yeah. They have a show they want to do. Other people are interested in it, so we just end up doing it. Yeah.
We'll just roll it all under the same umbrella, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. So if I was to start a show today, and I wanted, 8 years down the road, I want to be where you guys are right now, which is studio. I mean, it sounds like you guys have achieved internet fame long ago. And I'm a young budding show producer. What's the one piece of advice you would bestow on them?
I think the biggest recipe for success that hasn't changed much over time is consistency.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of, I watch what everyone's doing out there, and I'm a big fan of Freddie Wong now.
Yeah.
Freddie W.
Did you see the video he just did with Epic Mealtime?
I did.
So good.
Also a big fan of those guys,
too.
Yeah,
so good, yeah.
And Freddie said the same thing in a recent post that he did when he hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Is that you want to be able to have the audience know when they can come and find content from you. A big part of that, too, is when you're working on something new, it's real easy to say, okay, let's just get together. We're going to film this thing. We're going to put it out there and see if it's popular.
Yeah.
If you do that, and it turns out to be really popular, then you're up against the wall of, well, when is the next one coming out?
Yeah.
How are we going to capture this audience before they just escape back into the ether, as they will?
Yeah.
And then they won't know when to come back or even how to find you or where to find you, you know? So I think it's important to have consistency. And I think a major part of that when you're getting started is always have at least 4 to 6 episodes.
Okay.
If you're doing something recurring, have 4 to 6 episodes done before you put the first one out.
Yeah.
And what you might find as part of that process, by the time you get to that 4th or 6th iterations, you look at your first one and go, okay, let's redo this and make it better, make it more in line with where we are now.
Yeah.
And where the show's going to head.
Cool. Great. Well, Burnie, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to chat with us. Red vs. Blue, Season 9 is coming out very soon.
Yeah, it'll be out this summer.
The trailer's online when you're watching this right now, so go over to roosterteeth.com.
Yeah, you can come to redversusblue.com or roosterteeth.com.
Great. Burnie, thank you very much.
Kelly, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah.